Test. 1, 2, 3. What's good on, team? It's Ricky with Learn, Plan, Profit. Hope that you guys are all having an amazing day. And it's time to make it happen. So we got AMC with a nice little pullback. Tesla with a huge push out of nowhere. We'll see if this one holds. So really enjoying the way that the market's kind of opening. The overall NASDAQ index is opening in the green, as you guys can see, nearly, I was going to say nearly 1%, but that's not the case. It's up 0.5%. But for Tesla, if you guys see, we didn't do too well when we closed on Friday. We were doing extremely well up until the point where there was a very aggressive pullback. I think it pulled back a total of $10. This is why we have the joke of, keep it light, keep it tight. And we'll see what we can make out of today with current market conditions. So good morning. What's going on, Eric? What's going on, Elizabeth, Fernando, Oliver, Tommy, Tillman, Kenny, Exito, and Erdino, Douglas, Greg, the Hackiston, what's up, George, Ofer, Dustin, Gabriel, Oscar, Victor. We got Dustin, and then Tommy. What's up, Yusuf? What's going on, Jeffrey, Carlos? What's going on, Mr. Pineda? Let's have an amazing day. How does that sound to you guys? You think we can have an amazing day? Are we allowed to? Right? Tesla's finally in the freaking green. Let's try to. I mean, with your guys' permission, I would like to have an amazing day. But we'll see what we can make happen. So, all right, here we go. Thinking about reducing my position size a little bit on Tesla right now. And this is on my long-term portfolio. So can I explain why? So let's go ahead and break it down. So AMC is pulling back. Actually, it's up 15% from where it was at, from where it closed at on Friday. But it's pulling back a little bit. It hit highs of nearly 33%. So it's pulled back 10% already since the market has opened. From highs of 30 to 68, it has pulled on back. We'll see if we find a support level here. And we'll see if it ends up making a reversal. But one of the things that I want to show you is on Tesla. First off, we're going to be approaching previous highs right around $33. So I am going to reduce my position size right there. I'm going to reduce it a little bit with my Fidelity account. And the reason why is I have too much of it right now for how overbought it is. I want to show you guys on the 5-minute chart, just taking it into consideration. You guys know that I'm always just thinking about worst case scenario. I don't want to be a negative Nancy, but Tesla has been struggling to hold at these higher levels. So I just don't want to be fully invested at these overbought levels. And then if it pulls on back, I have no more buying power to buy at the lower levels, right? So being able to see that, you guys can see that the overall highs is 635.59. Maybe it wouldn't be the worst idea maybe for me to load off on a couple of shares at the 632, 633 general area just to prepare. If it does pull on back, great, I can buy more. But if it continues to go up, then guess what? I still have over 1,000 shares. So that's what I'm trying to do as of right now. We'll see where we get out exactly. And if I'm not mistaken, I actually have, during my live trading session on, I have 155 shares here that I purchased. It was during the live trading session, so I'm not up very, very much on my Webull account, but I took a lighter position on that one versus what I have in my, obviously, Fidelity account. So, all right, let's see. So I'll get ready to sell a couple on this one too, because if I think it's overbought for my, long-term account, then obviously it probably is in my best interest to get out of it on this one as well. So I'm going to prep this one, and I'm going to sell 200 shares as of right now. And I placed that order. So let's see where we got filled on that bad boy. So 631.92, and I'm gonna prep this one to sell. So here it goes. Oh, definitely don't want to buy. Hee hee. Looks like I don't have my hotkeys set up. There it goes, 632.57. So I'm just gonna prep this one to sell. I'm gonna set a total of, let's sell half of it, right? So half of 155 would be around, let's just do a little bit more than half. I'll do a little bit more than half right there with 80, and let's just sell it. There it goes. I got filled with 80 of my shares to sell Tesla at 632.40. So it's not bad. It's not a perfect exit. It's not something that I had to be crazy careful about. It was holding. I can see my level 2 here. I can see where people are buying. I can see where people are selling. So that helps out a little bit. But keep it light, keep it tight. So if it does pull on back, I can buy right back in again. And if it holds there, then I don't have to worry about it. So alrighty, we'll see where we go from here. Ricky taking attendance. That is hilarious. Look at that nice push on Tesla. Love to see it. All right. So can you break down Airbnb? Of course. Also, friendly reminder for everyone that for anyone that is new to LPP, if you ever want me to break something down, if you just want to introduce yourself, there's no reason that you should be shy, right? You are part of our group. Just be respectful to others. That's literally all I ask you. The type of environment that we like to carry with an LPP is, if you're not going to say something that's going to be useful or helpful to others, then probably not say it at all, right? But if it's going to be helpful or useful for yourself, then again, do not be afraid to ask either. Let's go ahead and break down Airbnb. So A, B, and B. Here it goes. Alrighty. I'm going to take a step back, and I'm going to look at the 4-hour time frame. It's one of the things that I personally like to look at, right? So once we do this and we look a little bit further out, we could see that it was bullish before, it hit highs of 219, and it's been selling off ever since. If I were to ask you what indicator has been acting as a resistance as it's been selling off, a lot of you guys might say it's this SMA line, right? Which is this light green line that you see right on over here. Almost every time that it tries to recover, gets rejected, tries to recover, gets rejected, tries to recover, potentially can get rejected. So until proven otherwise, let's go ahead and set an effective alert, right? So we're going to create an alert here for the break above that. And if it breaks above, then great. We can follow up with it. And if you want to add more to your position size then great, so be it. But other than that, let's not be super obsessive about something that still has so much to prove, right? So yeah, I'm excited to follow up with it. We'll see where it goes from there. We got AMC. Let's see. Let's go look at this on the 1-day, 1-minute chart. Alrighty. See if we break above EMA, so that would be right around $30 and what is that? $30.30. I think I did something with my indicators. Let me change that. No, it's not on this. It has to be on chart setup. All right, here we go. We're at 30.07. I don't know what I did, but I did something that doesn't allow me to change the length of my RSI. I messed up. I'm gonna have to reset that one. All right. Alrighty. So Ricky, thoughts on Twitter? Let's go ahead and check it out. So I'm tempted to just buy a couple of shares of AMC. I'll probably buy 100 shares here. Yeah, I'll buy 100 shares. So buy. We'll go in with a limit order. We're about to approach 30.50, which is the price point that I previously spoke about. All right, so I got filled at 30.20. Let's go ahead and break down Twitter. So how's that one looking today? So I can see Twitter on my account, on my Fidelity account, is in the red. So Twitter's pulling back today. Let's go ahead and check it out. Twitter is down 0.25%, so it's not down very much. But this is after a recent rally. I'm not too sure if you guys have been paying attention to Twitter. One of the things that I've been talking about when it comes down to Twitter is it's been getting rejected by the SMA line. It hit overall lows. It had a great recovery, but guess what? It's been getting rejected by this SMA line, so we can't be surprised that it could potentially pull on back from there. So this is something that we've talked about almost every single time about every stock that is still trading below the SMA line. It's great to look at the 1 day, 1 minute chart, but it's super important to look at the 4 hour, 180 day chart so you can see the overall direction of the stock, right? And you can see that just taking a step back, you can see that it has been getting rejected by this SMA line. It did have an amazing recovery, right? A great rally for about a week. And now it's finding a resistance level at the SMA line. So we can't be surprised that it could potentially pull on back here. We have to be prepared. So to either reduce your position size, be ready to lock in profits, or if it breaks above SMA line, then that's where I would probably consider to buy a little bit more of it, right? So I'm going to set an alert here. Let's go ahead and create an alert. And that's going to be for the break above 60.45. And we can go from there. Also, don't forget to set your alert for the potential break below, right, that EMA line. So if we break below maybe $55, then that's when I would potentially consider hey, it might be time to get out, right? So let's take that into consideration. There it goes. A little Tesla Blue hit highs of 633.80, so not bad, not too bad. Oh, there it goes, strong pullback. Let's see if the NASDAQ index is pushing up. I have made 6% trading Twitter. I like that. And that's Patrick, right? So super happy to hear that. I'm up quite a bit on my Twitter account or Twitter position as well. I don't know if it's 6%. Yeah. So I can I was going to show you a screenshot from my Fidelity. I am not up as much as Mr. Patrick, but I'm up 5.6% since purchase, and I have $50,000 invested. So I'm up $2,700, so $2,725 is what I'm up since my purchase. So today it's pulling back a little bit, which is, let's be completely honest, especially with Twitter. We can't be surprised that after a 6-day rally, it's finally pulling on back, right? It's part of the process. It's part of what happens, so let's not be surprised. And after coming from such a descending pattern, it's great to see it kind of breathe a little bit. And if you believe in Twitter and you think that it's going to recover, then stick to your original plan. Stay well balanced. Don't be so heavily invested that when it pulls on back, you become an emotional mess, right? If it pulls on back, I'm light enough I'm lightly enough invested in Twitter where I wouldn't mind buying more. On a pullback, I can get it for a better deal and then ride back the recovery. So that's my approach. That's the way that I've always talked about it, and it's great to see. So how's DKNG doing today? So that one's down about 1%. Here it goes. So DKNG, a very similar setup as you guys could see to like Twitter, where it hit lows of $39, pretty much $40, so $39.93, and then it begins to recover, and then it pulls back a little bit today. So again, it's part of the process, especially after a very strong recovery. So we can't be mad about it. Let's look at this at the 1-day, 1-minute chart. See what we got going on. Look at that. I'll buy 100 more shares. Alrighty. Ricky, do you see the reverse head and shoulders on AMC? Let me check it out. Are we looking at this at the 1-day, 1-minute chart or on the 4-hour time frame? What time frame are we looking at? Anytime that you share, like, hey, do you see this on this? You need to tell me the time frame. I don't know what time frame you're looking at. I don't know if it's on the 1 hour, 4 hour. This is important. Definitely not there. Okay, so it's either going to be on the 1-day, 1-minute chart or the 5-minute chart, right? So I'm guessing this is one of the. This would be like a head and shoulders, right? Head, one of the left shoulder, right shoulder. So we might be preparing for a nice little pullback. Can't be surprised about it. Alright, let's see what we got going on. If it pulls back below EMA, I'm going to have to get out. Okay. No, we're not working together, Aaron. We just did a collab. He came to visit Arizona for like an event, and he asked to film at the Paradise Valley House Flip and just talked a little bit more about it. So I don't normally do collabs. I heard he was a nice guy, so was happy to do so, and yeah, rightfully so, he was a nice guy. Heads up for watch out with the EMA. We got everything kind of pulling back a little bit. Not really pulling back, but it's just it's the first 23 minutes of the market open. What could we expect? Here it goes. Testing EMA. Are we going to bounce or are we going to break below? What do you guys think? So without the VWAP and the upper and lower band, will it affect your trading decision? No, I never use necessarily the like upper or lower band. It was more of I always used the VWAP indicator as a reference. The middle line was always the most important one, as that one told you the direction if it was bullish or bearish. At the end of the day, I haven't been day trading as much just due to my focus more on my long positions, and then me investing in other markets and trying to get the HQ up and running. So I wouldn't say that it would affect me too much, but at the end of the day, I should never, and we should never be taking a trade based off of a sole indicator. We've said it 1,000 times. Indicators are to be used as a reference, never a sole reason on why you take a trade. And what I always find most important is, direction and the price action. Are we bullish? If so, let's formulate a plan around that. So let's see it. So hey, can you take a look at HD? Of course, Home Depot. Yeah, Aaron, definitely a nice guy. I would not want to do a podcast. I'm trying not to do as much of the online thing. I'm trying to stick more to, again, the main focus. There's actually another podcast that I got featured on recently, and they're like, "What's the whole purpose of the HQ?" And one of the things that I've shared so many times with you guys before, especially during podcasts, are that everyone that's part of our team are people that I met through LPP, through TechBuds, through my social media presence, but it's because I met them in person. It's really hard to establish a solid relationship online. So my goal with the HQ is I hope that I can cherry pick, a number of people that I see value in, a number of their ideas, a number of the opportunities that they come up with. And they run my way, and if they think that I can be of value for them, then I would love to set up a partnership in that aspect. So we'll see how it works out, right? You never know until you try, and I'm definitely excited to try and see what we can do and how we can work together. So Home Depot on the 4-hour time frame looks like it's pulling back as of right now from recent overall highs. So slight pullback. It looks like it's now trading below SMA, so I would make sure I set an alert for the break above that. I would first wait on that, and then if it does end up breaking above, I just don't know if previous resistance levels, if the margin is really worth it. If you see value in it, all power to you. I just don't know if... Where's my drawing tool? From where we're at right now to previous highs, that's about 8 to 9%. So just make sure you take that into consideration. It's definitely a solid setup. We'll just see if it holds above that. If it actually holds above the SMA line, or if it begins to make lower lows. If it begins to make lower lows, there's no reason to buy in early. It's only going to sell off. That's where you're only going to put yourself in a worse position, right? So let's stay patient with that one. We say it time after time, confirmation is key. On the 1 day, 1 minute chart, looks like a pretty solid setup, but again, just make sure you take it into consideration. People love to ask, how do you know when to look at the 1 day, 1 minute chart? How do you know when to look at the 4-hour time frame? Let me ask you a very simple question, right? If you're going to, this is going to be a great analogy. I know that you guys love my analogies. I'm absolutely horrible at them. But if you're going to go to Miami, right? If you're from Arizona and you're going to go to Miami, and you're going to go there for 1 day, what are you going to do? I'm going to check the weather for that 1 day, right? But if I'm going to go to Miami for a month, or if I'm going to stay there for 3 months and I want to get an understanding of the weather, am I just going to check 1 day of the weather? No, I'm going to check, the previous couple of days. I'm going to check, the past week, what they project for the next week. I'm going to do more of an analysis. It's more in-depth, right? Because your intention is to stay in there or stay there longer. Same thing when it comes down to your position. If your focus is to day trade, then yeah, maybe looking at the 1 day, 1 minute chart, or just relevant days, so maybe 5 days, isn't a bad idea. But if you plan to invest in a company or stay in there for a long period of time, if you intend to swing trade it, why are you only looking at one day to determine if it's a good deal or not? It would make sense for you to look further back to see if this is something that you want to hold for a number, of days. So that was actually pretty good. Oh, love to hear it. I know when I thought about this analogy in like the millisecond that I was like, how am I going to be able to articulate this in or express this in like a very like simple way? Hey, I like that. As long as you guys understand, my man's analogy game is improving. That's all it's about, right? I just got to get a little bit better as time goes on. You would think after all my horrible analogies of what was one of those that I said? Talked about a girl at a bar. I talked about driving a car. Oh man. Yeah, so if you guys are new here, I don't want to get your hopes up with that analogy. Let's be honest, they're not always going to be that good. So I got to make sure I prepare you for the horrible analogies that I tend to give within this live stream. But I'm trying. I try to get a little bit better. Alrighty. We got Tesla teeter-tottering right above 630 a share. So it's trying to hold. I don't think it's going to hold up here. So I'm glad I reduced it lightly once it decides to load. I think I have to reset my computer. I haven't reset it since I've installed this. So probably in my best interest to keep it running smoothly, especially over the weekend. Oh, there it goes. This is a pretty nice setup. If we hold above the EMA here, we should see and actually try to make new highs. So heads up on that. Look, there it goes. Let's see if it does it. Let's see if it pulled on back, right? Found a support at SMA, and it looks like it's building a support level here. So we'll see if it actually begins to... Nope, there it goes. Ooh, there it is. Alrighty. Let's do a couple more breakdowns because I saw that a couple of you guys had something for me. So TQQQ reversal. Yep. Well, the overall NASDAQ market's beginning to pick back up again, right? So that's when we see TQQQ beginning to recover. Love to see it. Thank you, John. Oh my God, Austin, that's hilarious. I like that. We might have to. Love to see it, Gabriel. Congrats. All right, so we got asked to break down NIO and TQQQ. So let's go ahead and break it down for the team. So TQQQ, a lot of you guys probably should know. TQQQ goes up when the overall NASDAQ market goes up. You guys can see it's been pulling on back a little bit on the day. It still should be in the green, yeah. So it's still up 0.5%. TQQQ is a triple leveraged ETF, so it does 3 times whatever the NASDAQ market does. So if the market is up 1%, this thing is normally up 3%. This isn't something that you necessarily want to hold over time. It decays over time, so make sure you take that into consideration. But the reversal that he was talking about is that it was beginning to indicate signs of an uptrend. It was testing EMA line for a potential reversal, but it got rejected, and now it's pulling on back. Why it's super important to wait for confirmation. But on the 4-hour time frame, the idea of this is that, like the overall NASDAQ market, this thing was very oversold. It's now beginning to recover. If anything, it looks a little bit more on the overbought side. Hopefully it holds above EMA, SMA, but if we do break below on the 4-hour time frame, we cannot be surprised if it pulls on back. So make sure you have some form of exit plan. The other one that we got asked to break down is, was it NIO? Oh, yeah, I think so. So NIO with a great start to the week, up 6% already on the day. So NIO, if we take a little bit of a further step back, yep, not that far back. Here we go on the 180-day chart. We can see that it hit overall highs of, what was that? Let me go ahead and zoom out a little bit. So that was 66. $66.99, so nearly $67. You could see ever since then. If I were to ask you for the past, what is this? For the past month to month and a half, do you see the resistance level that it's had at 43.75, the support level that it's had at $31? We've talked about this before. The lows, the highs, the lows, the highs, the lows, the highs, the lows, the highs. It doesn't obviously it's not going to continue to trade in that range forever, right? But until proven otherwise, I wouldn't be surprised if it does for a while, right? So I can set an alert for the break above 43.75. I can set an alert for the break below $31. But overall, it is in my best interest to do my part, getting in for a good deal and locking in profits when approaching a previous resistance level. We can't be surprised if the pattern repeats itself. We can only be prepared, right? So let's do it. Let's see what we got. Alrighty. But I think that's pretty much it for today, team. We got Tesla with a slight pullback. Not surprised, right? So happy that we sold half of the shares here with the Webull account. We'll prepare for this thing to pull back. If it does, I'll buy a little bit more and intend to ride it back for the recovery. And AMC is trying to hold around that general area, right? General area. It's really just testing the SMA line, the EMA line. But just know that it is up, so I think it's up like 120 or 130% since the start of last week. So just take that into consideration. You guys know that at the end of the day, we're never here to tell you what to do. We're never here to tell you where you should buy, where you should sell. You should never be told what to do if you want to understand what to do, right? You should always just be encouraged to have a plan. And that's for everyone. That's for whatever stock or whatever investment or whatever opportunity you choose to take advantage of. So all we ever ask you to do is, whatever stock it is that you are in, AMC as an example, what are you going to do to set your future self up for success? Where do you plan to lock in profits? Where do you plan to buy more? Where do you plan to reduce your position? And where do you plan to cut losses? These are all questions you must have answered before you take on a risky trade. And if you don't, then it just means that you could definitely get lucky and it could shoot up and then you'll be fine. But more often than not, we don't get lucky. And what are you going to do then, right? How is it that you can avoid that unfortunate circumstance? So all we ever ask you to do is formulate a plan, manage and mitigate that risk, and set your future self up for success. So I enjoyed this live stream. I hope that you guys did too. If you guys have any questions whatsoever, even if you're new to the LPP team, send me a direct message on Discord. I'd love to welcome you to our team. If you have any questions whatsoever, I am simply one direct message away. I really do appreciate you guys' time. Continue working hard, continue following dreams. Let your passion be what drives your success. And like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a green note. Take it easy, team.